Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to the Akim that are preaching and teaching with all truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayashadawadad, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad amongst the heathen and that also look like the heathen. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. I am Darash from Men of Other Camp, Las Vegas. And this lesson is entitled, We Seek His Acceptance. Ever since Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai woke me up and the other brothers up in our due time and the order, we're now striving, doing all that we can to seek that acceptance. We're going to start off with 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. So, when you put your hand to the plow, whether you be present with the brothers or absent, you still got to make sure to be diligent in this work and to get the word out there. That's part of the commandment. It's making ourselves a living sacrifice. That's part of our acceptable service unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Now we're going to go to the book of 2 Timothy. This is going to be 2 Timothy chapter 2. This is 2 Timothy chapter 4. Sorry about that. It's chapter 4, verse 2. And it says, Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, with all long suffering and doctrine. So, no matter what time of day it is, whether having a good day or a bad day, so to speak, we still got to get this word out there. With long suffering, that's the patience that we have to go through, that we have to, deal with. Regardless of your situation, you got to get the word out there. That's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's command. As a prophet, that is your job. That goes into, also, 2 Timothy 2 and 15. In fact, I'm right here, so I'll get it. And it says, study to show thyself approved unto the power, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So, being diligent in these scriptures, studying, getting this, getting the understanding. We go out there rightly dividing the word of truth, not being ashamed or embarrassed or scared at all to proclaim his holy name and the word. And next is going to be 2 Peter. This is going to be the book of 2 Peter. It's going to be This is 2 Peter chapter 1, starting at verse 10. Get there real quick. And it says, Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure, for if ye do these things, ye shall never fail. So, as said before, you have to study to show thyself approved, and you have to keep with it, keep persevering, endure, because once you come into this truth, prepare thyself for temptation, roughly paraphrasing in the book of Sirach. So, when you're diligent in this, you're going to go through some things. The Lord is going to test you. If you truly, within your heart, within your mind, if you want to seek His acceptance, not only do you have to get this wisdom and this knowledge and understanding, but you also have to accept the fact that you're going to be tested in ways that are going to try your patience. And that's part of being that gold tried in the fire. Because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, as a father that chastises a good son, he's trying to make you better. He wants you to do better, to be better, for his sake. And we're going to go by, start by the book of Ephesians. This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 18. And it says right here, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. So, through prayer and supplication, so through, begging and perseverance in the Spirit, and, being a watchman, discerning the signs of the times, with all that perseverance for all saints, and I'm going to read here verse 19, and for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. So, you have to pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai sincerely, that, he can open up this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding unto you. And that way, as verse 19 says, utterance be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, to speak this truth. Even though not everybody's going to get it, but those who are willing to hearken, the eyes to see and the ears to hear, keep going. And as for the prayer and supplication, we're going to make a stop to the book of Matthew. This is going to be Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. And it says right here, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Verse 8, for everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. So, you have to, pray. Pray, and, with all truth and sincerity, and have that, that diligence and perseverance and sincerity in your mind to seek the Lord even more. So, through prayer and supplication, will Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, answer you. And you shall receive. As the old saying, as that one old saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't ask or say something, you're not going to get anything. You have to speak up. And let's see. This is going to be the book of, let me get 2nd Esdras real quick here. 2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 13. And this is going into, part of, seeking his acceptance. And it says right here, verse 13. Now, 2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. And that, that's talking about getting your shit together, getting yourself together. Make sure that you're rooted in this, and spiritually first and foremost. And as for the world, make sure you got together. You're not having any issues. But mostly, first and foremost, is to get your mind right, get it, settled and rooted in this wisdom. And it says right here, verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Let go of the ways of this world. Whatever burdens you're facing in this world, just let it go. Pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that, that he, takes care of, relieves you of that burden. In verse 15 it says here, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. So set these thoughts aside that burden you, and make haste, because we're in a time where whatever is burdening us in this society, it's all about to come down. It's all about to come to a crash, to the point where you're not going to even be worried about it anymore. You're going to be worried about getting the hell up out of here. Now we're going to go back to Slovakia. My allergies are just bugging me today. We're going to go to the book of John, This is going to be John chapter 16. Chapter 16. Slovakia. Let's see what I got here. Actually, hold on. Slovakia. Let me get. Come on. Wrong one. All right. This is Revelation. Before I get John, I just want to get Revelation chapter 1 verse 3 real quick, because this is important here. It says, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." And that time is now, because, while we're under this grace period, we need to get this wisdom. We need to get, as much of it as we can within our due measure. Because not every brother's measure is the same. So, keep your diligence, keep your mind rooted in this wisdom so you don't get caught up or bug out. And let me get John 16 and 8 as I was. And it says right here, actually, let me go back before I get that again, Salakia. Let me get 2 Corinthians. Go back to 2 Corinthians again and get, this will be chapter 5 once more. Corinthians here. There we go. Sorry, not 2 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, this is going to be chapter 3, verse 12. And it says, "Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is." So, your works, putting your hand to the plow, you have to practice what you preach in this truth, because that's part of, rehearsing the righteous acts to get right, because it's going to be tried by fire. Your works, your lessons that you put in this, each individual lesson that you put into this, it's supposed to be an example of who you are. And each lesson that you put out, it's going to be tested. It's going to be tried. So practice what you preach, because that's part of maintaining integrity as a man. And it says right here, verse 14, "If any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward." So, if any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. So, stand by your word and by your actions, and be humble and be willing to accept rebuke. But, as far as your works go, keep that integrity. That's part of the process of becoming a real man, a man of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And you shall receive that reward, Lord willing. Okay, now we're going to go back to 2 Corinthians, and this is going to be chapter 5. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, verse 10. And it says right here, in fact, I'm going to start right back at verse 9, like the first script I started from the beginning. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. "Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent we may be accepted of him." Verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. So we all have to, even though our sins are as filthy rags, and every brother slips up, but we still got to answer for that. We got to pray with all truth and sincerity for mercy and forgiveness. So that's part of chastisement. Okay, you messed up and you feel bad about it sincerely, and you pray for and you ask for that forgiveness, that you don't do it again. So we all got to answer for what we've done, whether it be good or bad. There's no getting around it. That's part of that spiritual ass whooping. All right, now John 16:8. And it says, and when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. So when Yahweh Shem Yahushai returns, Yahweh Shai, he's going to correct this world. He's going to set it all back in order after he gets rid of all the filth. So, and in that judgment, it's going to be, it's going to be a lot of destruction going on. Death, pestilence, so on and so forth. It's going to get bad out here. So when Yahweh Shai comes back, he's going to set everything back in order, and we're going to rule in righteousness and with judgment. The way it was meant to be from the beginning. And this is going to be the last, before I close out, this is going to be the book of let's see here, this is going to be this is going to be, if I can get the page. This is also something I want to hit on. This is 1 John. 1 John chapter 3, verse 22. And it says, and whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandment, and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. So, in verse 23 hits home, and it says, and this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his Son, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, and love one another as he gave us commandment. So, we have to, to the best of our ability, within this captivity, to do what we can to please him. So, we can receive that mercy, and, Lord willing, that we be accepted of him, and to believe on his name. That's a commandment, and to love one another. But all right, this will be it. This will be the final one. I'm going to close out with this. This is the book of John, St. John, chapter 14, verse 15, and it says, if ye love me, keep my commandments. It's simple as that. If ye love Yahweh Shem Yahushai, keep his commandments to the best of your ability while you're in this captivity, of course, because we're not going to get it all right. And plus, these bodies are designed to go off. So, do the best that you can, even though you're going to screw up and slip up here and there, but that's part of this path, to get it right. And verse 16, and it says, and I will pray the Father. Remember, the word pray means to beg. I will beg the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. So, keep the commandments at all times, and, Yahweh Shai being the mediator to the Father, he will pray to his Father that, for that, that he'll help you out. Remember, prayer, faith, and the diligence and this wisdom, this is something that you have to meditate upon. You know, this is the year of the turn up where Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to start not only sifting, but bringing forth that terrifying judgment. And the 2/3 in His eyes are a waste, and we don't want to be a part of that waste. We want to be part of that precious, that elect, that remnant. So I hope that this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the Akim that are preaching and teaching with all truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayash Dawadad, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad amongst the heathen that look like the heathen as well. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Once again, I am Darash from Men of Valor Camp, Las Vegas. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala wa Abad Babal. Shalom.